Welcome to the Everyday Awesome Project, where we bring you inspirational stories and game-changing strategies to live your most awesome life. Hey, superstars, welcome back. Polly here.
Sam Pruitt in the house, y'all.
Yo.
What's
Today,
up?
you guys, today's a little bit of a sharing more on the thread of what we've been talking about this year. Sam's trying to show the book. So if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, The Five Invitations is the book that we're both studying, reading as a part of A Year to Live, a wonderful program that you're in, the Buddhist that you are. And today we're going to dive into the first one. So we're going to do this as a series. So stay tuned for all of those. And what's our first one? What's the first invitation?
Number one,
I
don't
know.
wait.
I know.
Number one, don't wait. So real quick, what the five invitations is discovering what death can teach you about living fully.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
One of the Dharma teachers in the course I'm taking is Frank Ostaseki.
mm.
He is also the author of this book. I am in love with Frank. It should publicly be known that millions of people are in love with Frank. He is a phenomenal human being and forever was part of and one of the founders of the Zen hospice program in San Francisco.
Mm. Yeah.
And he wrote this book pretty early on in the game here about his own experience of what he was hearing and seeing and witnessing and being part of as he did this work with the dying. So
Mm,
it's an incredibly powerful book. It's
mm.
not depressing. Okay. Some people would be
Yes.
like, I can't read it. It has the
Right.
word death in it. I can't, got to run the other way. No, it's not at all that. It's absolutely a call to live.
Yeah.
1,000% it is a call to live and to just be honest about what is real in the humanity of living and dying. And it's incredibly inspiring, highly motivating,
Mm.
beautiful work. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotten just so many praise. Like I went through it so not quickly, but it's a not a light read, but it's way easier to read than the A Year to Live for me anyway. So I just loved, consuming it each night. And there were times where I was, reminiscing, and times I was just, it's so moving, like the things that it has you think about, right? And it's such an area of life and the world that we don't often spend a lot of time in. Like this guy's been over in this part of life that and he's got a lot of stuff to teach us and bring back. It's like when people get really specialized in something and this specialized knowledge. And like you said, the subtitle of this book is Discovering What Death Can Teach Us About Living Fully. And this is like, hey, y'all, I've been over here learning this stuff. Y'all need to know this, like this is what matters, right?
It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. He does storytell and he does have just how he does it is really eloquent also.
Yeah.
I decided to do two things because I'm not in a hurry to absorb this information, right? I have a year to be in this program and I really want to, be in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I am reading it, yes. And then I'm also doing the audio book, which is in Frank's
I
voice.
love the
That's
audio.
also really lovely since he's one of my Dharma teachers. Like, so hanging out with Frank is also very nice. And how he reads his own book
Yeah.
it's very well done. So either of those are available, of course. Or
I
wait till the
love.
next class and take it. I don't know if Frank will be part of that
Mm.
next year, but he might be.
There was something lovely when I switched. I read half the book reading it and then listened to the other half in audio. And I'm really glad. And I would listen to the audio again and again. There's something about it that it comes to life when he speaks it versus, trying to interpret it through my own mind and just the words on the page. So anyway, enough on that. But let's
Yep.
start with don't wait because I love where you want to go with this and why this topic. It's part of the series we're going to do, but like, what is don't wait? You have some thoughts on what that means, especially with your background in Buddhist studies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a core foundational principle of Buddhism is impermanence, that
Mm,
everything is impermanent. We human beings, obviously, we are interconnected with nature and we are of the nature
mm,
to disappear, but also
mm.
to change, to continuously change. As every single thing around us, 100% of everything around us is changing. I mean,
Yeah.
people have this idea that things are like fixed.
Yeah.
and material things last forever and all that. None of that is true. I mean,
Yeah.
these are just
The way
strange.
it is, it's always been, it's always going to be like, I mean, definitely there's people that you're like, okay, they're in a rut, they're not changing. Okay, so maybe there's some people that are on neutral, you
Well, we
know.
know people can get emotionally stuck, but nonetheless, their body,
Yeah.
their physiology, and
Yeah.
in fact, even what they are experiencing moment to moment is forever and constantly changing. To
Yeah.
me, that's an incredibly powerful gift when you really not only understand that, but when you bring that into your being, like you say, okay, I'm going to live from that place
Hmm.
of understanding that my thoughts, my ideas, my pain and suffering, my joy,
Mm.
my physical body, my things, the people that I love, the outdoors that I love so much, it's forever changing. And it will give you a sense of, I mean, it kind of blows your mind.
Yeah.
And it can be disruptive for people a little bit to go there, but you need to go there because it's what is reality.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden you just feel like everything is so precious and beautiful and remarkable. And also it's liberating to know, oh, this suffering or pain is going to pass. These
Mm.
crazy ideas or stories I'm telling myself or whatever, it's going to pass. It will all pass.
Yeah. 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 And I think, impermanence, um, I get you like things and whatever, but um, like the people in our life, it's interesting. You and I were noticing how, you signed up for this program. You signed up in October, so like you could kind of say, you're halfway through or halfway into like the study of it or the expression, understanding it, and your brother has passed away since you signed up for that, right? And like just looking at like how many people we know that things are happening, that impermanence in their own life around us. I've got kitty cats are getting sick, and you've got another friend that's diagnosed with cancer and blah, 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 right? And it really puts it in front of you, right? Instead of like this off, and I don't know if you want to tell the story about the friend that you were talking with recently who, we get up to these lives that things are going, 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 right? And we've got plenty of projects and all these things to do, whether it's, you got plans for the next 20 summers of your life or whatever, or you just don't even look out in front because you're so busy with what you're doing right now. And then you get these wake up calls called, life interruptions, diseases or whatnot that remind us about the impermanence. And then the context shifts. Like once
Hmm.
you have that diagnosis, I think the beauty you and I have is we don't have a diagnosis right now. So, but we are in the study of this and we can look at people who have, and then we can reflect it on our own selves. Like we put ourselves into this program and then it's like in that context called you have 1 year to live, like what do you want to be doing? Like what matters, right?
And it doesn't have to be a diagnosis. I mean, you can use something as simple as, well, I hurt my back last year, but let's say today I was out doing my long run. Okay. And let's say, and I'm working towards some very specific goals, right? Physical, challenging goals for this year. And if I were to have sprained my ankle
Yeah.
in the moment, just called today, just doing my regular trail run, right? All of the things at that second, the second that happened, everything would have changed,
Mm.
right? So this is always happening. I'm
It's like a
using the
life path.
extreme
Yeah.
example of like, oh, sprain an ankle, and all of a sudden I can't do the John Muir maybe or whatever the hell the thing is, right?
Yeah.
All the time throughout the day, things are always changing,
Yeah.
and we suffer
Mm.
because we try and stop things from changing. We try to hold on
Mm.
to as tight as we can. We have this idea, first of all, that we have control. Yes, we have agency over our lives, but we don't
Yeah.
have control.
Yeah.
These are two very different things.
Mm.
Agency and control are not the same thing, people.
Mm. Mm.
Hello.
Mm.
And so we grasp and hold on to, but I want it to be this way, but it needs to be this way, but da 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 da, whatever the story is, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's when the suffering comes,
Mm. Mm.
the mental and emotional suffering, right?
Yeah, it
Uh,
shows up in that gap between
in the
expectation
gap.
and reality. Like that's what
Yes.
I'm discovering is like suffering is you expect something, you want something, you have attachment, as the Buddhist would say, you have attachment to an outcome. It
Hmm.
was going to happen like this. We were going to go on this trip. This race I was going to run or whatever. I'm going to get this
My
job.
marriage was going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I was going to, for my children were going to be perfect. You could literally think of a thousand
Thousand
and
things.
one
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And so that attachment to the outcome, the expectation, if you will, in our mind, right? It's all a figment of our mind because you're right. Like none, it's all just zeros and ones out there. It's all just, energy, whatever you want to call it, right? You're not there yet. But then the suffering is, oh, that, like the path to that outcome that we had in mind ain't happening. And so when I want to introduce, so my word for the year is wonder. And I think this is really a great attachment to this is, in the world of impermanence, in the world of like you have no, let's say, control or whatever, staying in wonder and curiosity. Like I notice it when like I'm counseling with clients and stuff, and they get themselves all worked up when, something happens, like bad news, a lawsuit, somebody's leaving, but whatever. And I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, just let's go. Okay, that's
Yeah.
that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you can have your moment or 2 days or whatever it takes you to like, ding, ding, rebound emotionally, and let's go. Like, okay, it's a speed bump, right?
Mhm.
Instead of a roadblock or whatever it turns into. But we turn it into more, part with the suffering and then part just the
Mhm.
anguish that we create. And I'm just like, all right, what are we gonna do? Like, so what? Now what? You know?
Yeah. I'm talking to this friend who's currently in the hospital right now receiving chemo for 5 days straight. We were talking about the hospital experience, and there's other people in the treatment center that are resisting, not really wanting it, angry about it, the diagnosis, the treat, all the things, right? So they're being difficult and they're yelling and they're just not being nice to the caretakers. Like all of this chaotic stuff is happening. And my friends over here going literally like, I couldn't be more grateful. I couldn't be more in awe of these people. I couldn't be more receptive to the care I'm getting, like a complete opposite.
Mm-mm.
So we were just discussing
Yeah.
that. And the people who are angry and upset and all the things, they're in resistance to what is true, which is they have a disease
Mm-hmm.
and that they have decided to be on a treatment protocol that is very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know, the truth that they have a disease is the truth that they have a disease, so fighting that and pretending that that's not real is not helpful. And then the fact that they made a choice to get the treatment, but yet are pissed off about it is also incredibly unhelpful. Like it's just an endless flow of
Not helping
what are
your
you doing?
not helping your energy state. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But this happens all the time with people in life. We're talking about, you were talking about a business environment where it's things change moment to moment in the workplace. Hello.
Oh,
First of all, have you seen something called the news and the economy? Never mind all the people that are working in there. That's a whole other, it's complicated.
yeah.
There's a lot of things
Yeah.
going on in these spaces, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of complexity to it. And this idea that we think that we can have things go a certain way at all times and keep everything within the guardrails
Mm.
is a false
Yeah.
thing. It's just not
Yeah.
reality.
You know, wait, you just remind me, I don't know why this kicked this off for me. So my two of my other words for this year, like I have a little family of them, but wonder is the number one, is flow and flourish.
Mm.
So those are two of my other ones. And when I think about what you just said is like, like life, river, whatever energy, like wants to flow. Like if you think of, like a sound going across the airwaves or whatever, it's when you introduce resistance that like you can't hear this tone or the sound, or like you muffle something or whatever. And it's like they're just introducing this resistance in their own body, right? In their
Yeah.
life. And it's like, how can I be with the flow? Like, and then you flourish when you're with life, when you're with what's happening, when you're not resisting, not fighting your own, like, okay, this is okay. What's so what? Okay, now what do we do?
I have to read this quote because as you were talking, I was like, this is from Frank's book. Of course it is. The Persian poet Ghalib wrote, "For the raindrop, joy is in entering the river."
Hmm.
Talk about beautiful and flow.
Wow.
The
Say it
raindrop
again.
doesn't want to just drop on the sidewalk and then dissipate and be gone. It wants to be in the
Mm.
river.
Say it. You said it, and I was somewhat present to it, but say it again because I want to take it in.
Yeah. And then I just put, okay, ready? Persian poet Ghalib, Ghalib. He wrote, "For the raindrop, joy is in entering the river."
Hmm.
Oh my God.
What
That's
was
what I
little
envision.
us little raindrops out here. Yeah, right.
Well, we're all part of the river if we so choose.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And talk about always forever changing and impermanence. You know, a
Hmm.
body of water is a perfect example of that. And we are all just pieces within the body of water. But I
Yeah.
think why we really want to talk about the number one
Don't wait.
invitation of don't wait is you'll be waiting around for shit. I don't know what is going on out there. Okay. People are sitting on their rear ends,
Mm,
whether they're literally sitting or they're psychologically, emotionally sitting, not living their lives.
mm,
They are literally hanging out as if time is endless and
mm,
that their life is coming soon to a theater near you.
mm,
What is going on, Polly?
mm. Well, and I think too, I want to just add to that. So there's the ones that are, like I have family members that do the sitting and parking yourself in front of the boob tube, the TV, and that's called the life, right? And that, that's like the waiting. And then there's some that are, let's call it waiting, putting it off by having so much to do, other things to do, like other,
Busy, 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 busy.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, or a misalignment, or, either societal expectations, thinking, looking good, what are other people doing, whatever they're doing, that doesn't have them prioritizing what's most important and meaningful, right? Like living, because I think one of the things you had said before we went on air about your friend who has this diagnosis is, he was very moved by a visit with his son recently, whereas like, you get up to all these things and stuff, and then when the most meaningful people in your life, like your son, do something or share something, or you have time with them in this context called like I'm fighting for my life, like whoa, like it has a totally new like I remember when my kitty cat was passing away, right? And I'd had
Mm.
all these wonderful years with her, right? And lots of time to hang out and whatever. And then towards the end I was like, oh my God, I need to take some videos. And it's like the lens helps you really see like I know some people, like I have some friends that don't leave the house because they want to like, be with their pet and all that. I mean, I'm saying like at the end, sure, sure, sure. But like they really, close themselves down. Like I stopped doing vacations and stuff because I just want to be home at a certain point. But just having the lens through which you see your everyday life are the things that you're making yourself busy with, or you're, spending your time not doing, just sort of like sitting around on the couch, like you said, not being in action towards what's meaningful. Are you
Hey,
paying
either of those is a distraction
right, right. It's
from what
it's
is real.
it's two different ways of doing it. So I guess one you had said a quote before we started about like the antithesis, antidote to regret. What was that line? Because like one of the things that people often say is their biggest regrets when they die, right? And so I think this conversation for both of us is what you don't want to get to the end and then have these regrets. Okay, so you now take a conscious look at what would you regret doing, saying, being involved with, expressing, creating, whatever, but pay attention to it. So as you're going forward in your life, those things are unfolding. You have no regret because you had the forethought. You took advantage of this thing called life and got up to whatever it is. Or you just, and it could be small things like not, like I was out kayaking last weekend with my friend Jill, and I'm like moved by this, but I was telling her because of this work that we're doing, I was like, Jill, I'm enjoying this so much more because I'm treating this like this is the last time we made kayak together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know, and it's not like it. I don't
Hmm.
know if it will be or won't be, but
We don't know.
we don't know.
We don't know. And if you at least have the awareness that it could be, and that that conversation, that interaction, that shared nature space together, and
Yeah,
just the power of that alone
yeah,
is freaking remarkable. And
yeah,
if you don't have the awareness and
yeah,
you're too busy in the middle of that kayak, by the way, oh, as soon as I get done here, I have 50,000 things to do. I need to hurry up and get home and I need to do all these things. And so is waiting on me and this is happening. All this shit going on in your head instead of like, damn, look at my incredible friend. Who am I to have this?
mhm,
What? And look at where I am. Remarkable. I am submerged in nature.
Yeah.
literally part of my being, you know, like all of it is just like mind blowing. I
Remarkable.
think a lot of people take drugs for this reason. Okay, is
Yeah.
they want to like open up their mind to a bigger expanded way of seeing themselves and others in the world. But I mean, in this work, you don't have to be high. Like this is
Mhm.
a regular ongoing thing that you can walk around on the daily,
Mhm.
have it in writing or whatever you need to do. Tattoo it on your arm if you need to. Whatever you got to do, people,
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
stay awake
And
to
the
this.
first part of it is being present, like be here now,
Wake up.
right?
Hmm.
So I think if you create that context of, like in the background. So when I say like be here now is like the background of your life is you're here in this moment as much as possible. Sure, you've got a plan, you've got to think about, and there's things for tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you find, because we go like if you look at an everyday or an everyday life, if there was a director, there would be scenes. It'd be like, okay, cut to scene in,
Yeah.
getting ready in the morning, right? And like, oh,
Yeah.
she's in the bathroom, whatever. And then cut to scene checking email and cut to scene, like these things, these little micro moments. And not that, being with yourself is an important time to be present, but like, especially with, and one of the things I was thinking is how much we create familiarity, especially in
Mm.
relationships, especially long standing relationships. And
Oh, yeah, we do.
with that familiarity, right, we lose the significance, the
Hmm.
meaning of it because we go, I've been with this person, I know this, it's always the same or whatever. But it's for us to have new
Or we
glasses.
label them.
Yeah.
They're never going to change. They're always going to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How ludicrous.
How
I'm
dull.
not even the same person I was last night. I'm not even the same person I was this morning. I mean, I'm saying it because it's really true and
So at
it's
the
slightly
cellular level,
mind
yeah.
blowing,
Yeah, 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 for sure. For
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
And for somebody to say, "Oh, that's how Sam is, that she's just going to be that way." What the
No.
hell? Hell no.
Yeah. So don't wait. I think, like we talked about, the two things is one is waiting around, sitting on your ass for things to happen, for them to change, for some special date in the future, some special
Yeah.
event, retirement, whatever to happen, or busying yourself, blocking your time, your own experience of life with who knows what, right? And is it meaningful? Is it where you want to be, right? And if not, and maybe at some point we'll talk about that Jesse Itzler calendaring thing. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we're about to get there, but I think we want to really say to people, or I do, like to me, this is a call to action
Mm.
because I feel like I did a post recently on getting back fit, getting fit again and fitness and all these things, right? And that it's a verb. You got to always be doing it. It's actually an action, right? But like there's a whole spectrum to all of these different things
Mm.
in our life that we work towards or we feel good about or we want or whatever the things are, right? And so to me, it allows a, a framework of possibility,
Mm.
right? So if I know things are always changing and I am of the nature to change and all my circumstances are of the nature of change,
Mm.
I'm like game on,
Yeah.
right? Like how incredibly empowering and important is that for us to recognize the possibility of that. It
Mm.
really opens you up to your life, what is possible for yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and your circumstances,
Yeah.
you
If
know?
if you take it on like, I love that famous line from Einstein. Do we live in a loving or but I forget what he says, but it's like a something to be feared universe or a benevolent one. Like is the universe out for us or against us, right? And when we create this resistance and things shouldn't be happening or whatever, when you take it on, like you said, first is it's all possibility, and number two, it's all happening for me. Like good things are, the sense is there is good unfolding here, like in the arc of things. Sure, there can be dips or whatever, but it's to approach it in that context of life is happening for me, right?
Mhm. And
With
it's
the
actually more exhausting to stay stuck, to resist against what is naturally occurring
Yeah,
change,
yeah,
impermanence, to
yeah.
resist against it is freaking exhausting. And the people who are exhausted and they can't figure out why they're exhausted because you all be resisting like hell to
Yeah.
hold on to something,
Yeah.
right?
And there's definitely, when you look at, the Eastern philosophies and they talk about the chi and the energy of the body and the chakras and things like that, like we have
Yeah.
tremendous power and energy capable in our body. And I think what you're just pointing to is like when we block it, when we energetically block life, block what's happening, block, this shouldn't be, block our own potential, right? Mindset, whatever, we get these diseases. The energy systems of the body get clogged up. It's like plumbing that's clogged up inside of us, which creates disease, right? And the flow isn't happening. So, for
I want to just say one more thing about this. Don't wait before you go into more like operational, like how do we get on
sure.
task here? Don't wait to talk to people. You were in this communication course. We have a couple episodes that speak to this brilliantly, so people can go back and listen to those. But let's just double click for a hot second on that. Okay. Do not freaking wait to have the hard conversations.
Mm,
And those can be, I haven't talked to you forever. We got disconnected and I just want to reach out. You mean something to me, just like expressing with
yeah,
people that we've lost contact with. Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
that's incredible. Like I was telling you, the friend of mine who has cancer. I mean, I haven't really talked to this person in 25 years or
30,
something
yeah,
like that.
30
I
years.
mean, we've had superficial connection, but not
Yeah,
like a conversation like we had today, for example. And that's the case for so many of us, right?
yeah.
We lose touch with. I have several friends that I was with when they passed and part of their journey that had so many regrets around conversations they never had.
Mm,
One was a mother and son, and she
mm,
had not ever reunited with her son. I mean, literally broke her physically,
mm,
mentally, emotionally
mm,
towards the end of her life, at the end of her life, because of this unresolved, unsaid things, right?
mm,
And unfortunately, now her son will never have that conversation either. He'll do his own healing around that, I hope. But those are extreme examples of this is not uncommon
mm,
that
mm.
people don't have these conversations. Or even now, I've got lots of people in my life I talk to all the time and I love and I see and whatever, but maybe I'm not saying some things I'm actually wanting to say.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not like they're there, but maybe I haven't said what they do mean to me, or things about our shared past, or just ideas I want them to know about me, or how I see the world, or how I see them and appreciate them. It can be anything. But
Mm-hmm.
that is so incredibly beautiful. And while I've been in this course, I've been like, and of course, with you talking about communication all the time, I'm just communicating with all kinds of people in a different way. I was already communicating, but
Yeah.
like this is a much deeper level of communication that I've opened myself up to. And it feels remarkable. It really does.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you and I are, not that we weren't sort of deep before, but like we're just hanging out in a place in our bodies of, more connected to ourselves than ever before and wanting to connect in and tap in with the people in our life from that place. And like this, like the superficial, like the social media, just like blah, blah, blah conversation out there. It's like oftentimes when I'm talking with people, like bloop, we go deep pretty quickly,
Yeah.
and I think people are hungry for it, right? And it's just one of the things I don't know why this reminded me of this, but I was watching this movie you had shared with me. There's these little 30-minute movies on Netflix or something about like kind of life in the ICU when people are passing, and those decisions they have to make and, like what it's like and whatnot. And seeing how many people have at their bedside at those meaningful times, when they could be dying, or whatever. It really says a lot about that person. It's like, what was the impact they were having? Like, who were they connecting with so much that somebody flew across this country, drove wherever to like
Yeah.
carve out time and be with them, and nobody likes really going to hospitals, I don't, but like they are connected. Like that shows you the ties that they have, and when we just live at a superficial level or we isolate and we just watch TV all the time and we have no connections with people, like those moments when you're, needing people most in connection, it might be empty rooms, like,
And don't wait to say things to that person at their funeral.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That happens a lot too.
Mm,
How insane is that? You think I'm
mm,
there hanging out in the room listening to you? I've already moved on. I got another job to do. What
yeah,
the hell? I
yeah,
mean, enjoy the party, celebrating me. I'm cool with that. But like, tell me while I'm alive.
right.
Write me the letter while I'm alive. Make me understand who I am to you now. There
Yeah.
was one guy, I don't know where I saw this, but I thought this is freaking cool. He basically gave himself a project. He was aging and, yeah, probably in his 80s or something like that. He didn't have a diagnosis, nothing like that. But he just decided, I'm going to spend this next year and I'm going to make a list of all the people that are important to me. And he made this huge list,
Mm,
okay? Like people that have affected his life
mm,
and that he wanted to connect with. Okay.
mm,
So he has this big old list of people, and yours can be one or it can be 100. I don't care. And then he reached out to each of these people and he asked them a series of questions. So he
mm,
basically did interviews of these
mm,
people.
mm.
And then he made for himself like
Oh,
a little audio,
oh,
kind of like a journal, if you will,
yeah.
of this experience.
Wow.
And some of the number one question was, like, how did we meet?
Mm,
Okay. Because a lot of times we forget. That was cool. And then I think the number two or number three was, um, I want to tell you the impact you had on my life. And so then for each of those people, he would share with them, this thing happened, or we experienced this, or whatever. And this really brought meaning to my life. Like you
mm.
contributed to my life in whatever the way was. But there was a series of questions that he wanted to ask them. And I just thought, oh my God, this is remarkable.
Wow.
That's probably what I'm going to be doing next year after this Year to Live
That
program,
is awesome. That
because
is,
I was like, damn, hell yeah. I
wow.
want to sit down and have all those conversations. I
Yeah.
want to interview my
Right?
friends and family.
Yeah.
What?
Wow. It reminds me of you're making your playlist, like you're really in tune with the sounds and stuff like that. And like this is like another level, like you're really in tune with the relationships that matter, like what are the moments, right? What are the moments in our life? So good. So
I
good.
do ask everybody because I am slightly obsessed with this life playlist project that I started.
I have to
I
start
started
this.
creating one for my brother while he was still with
Yeah.
us, and then, of course, had it for his celebration of life. But in the same time, I was creating my own because
Mm.
I'm part of this class. This is not homework. I just made
Yeah.
this for
This is
myself
your
because
project. Yeah.
I love music and it speaks to me and it really reflects on me, allows me to reflect on my life. And there's so much emotion and stuff there. It's so great
Yeah.
for processing emotions.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And so now I ask people all the time, what are you listening to right now? What's some of your favorite songs? Because I feel it's a way for me to get to know them.
Yeah.
So, example of the friend I reconnected with
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
in the hospital getting chemo, and I was like, "What are you listening to?" Because he was a drummer when I knew him. He was
Oh
in a
wow.
band.
Oh
Okay,
wow. Wow.
music is a part of this human's soul.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, what are you listening to now? So it's whatever the questions are that allow you, me, and
Mm-hmm.
the other to
Mm-hmm.
be feeling more connected. Oh,
Mm.
I'm getting to know you better. I'm understanding you more now because I know what kind of music you're into. It can be
Mm.
really simple things.
That's cool. That's cool. And I
Yeah.
love just, it's like people find their ways to, I love going to potlucks because I get to try everybody else's food, and it's a little bit like I'm sampling people's music because there's always cool stuff that shows up at these potlucks. I'm like, what the hell is that? Or
Totally. Totally. So true. So true. All right, let's
so
give them some how-tos. You ready?
yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things I want to introduce, if you don't know who Jesse,
Oh, you froze for a minute there, darling. Coach Polly is currently frozen. Stand by for a second. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, maybe she's not coming back. Hey, lady, you froze. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, she's not coming back. I'm going to have to text her and we'll get back on and finish the audio. Hold on a second. You are totally frozen. waiting for Polly to get back on. Well, I love your name, and the way we make the buffalo roll. There she is. And she's back.
Sorry about that. All right,
That's all
I
right.
have to start that over again. I apologize.
Just remember you're going to have to do a little edit on this one.
Yep, yep. And then my camera's gonna be a little messy because it's not gonna match. Bummer. Okay. So let's see.
Jesse Etzler. So you're just
Yeah.
introducing him.
Is it recording? I just
Yeah,
want to make sure.
still recording.
Okay. So what I want to talk about is about Jesse Itzler. And if you don't know who he is, he's the husband of Sarah Blakely. And if you don't know who she is, she was the one who invented Spanx, which is like undergarments or whatever. Anyway, billionaire, right? And they're just a cute couple. So I enjoy them. He created, I can't remember how long it's been ago, maybe 5 years or something, this giant calendar, right? So I don't know when he got his mind around, like, he learned something about someone's book, and it's like when you see your life in like these like spreadsheets, you can see how many weeks, like where you are in your life if you have 80 years or something like that. And so he created these giant calendars to help people know, like, okay, you're at 50, 40, 60, wherever you are in your calendar, to the week. Like, okay, this week, whatever, how many weeks would you have in a, let's say, normal life type thing? And then it's really one of his key things is like your calendar reflects your real priorities,
Hmm.
right? It's not like, oh, I want to do this thing or, whatever. We talk about those people that have a lot of busyness and a lot of things that they're doing that maybe aren't meaningful or important, right? So it's really about like scheduling what matters. Like that's his key point on this. And I think it's important to introduce in this conversation of don't wait is like you and I have been pounding on this message since we probably started the podcast. Like that's just, I was thinking like this don't wait. I'm like, this is kind of like Gandhi. Like I think it's the story of our life, right? Like our life is our message is like, yep, we haven't really sat around, putting off too much, like we get about it. So his point is schedule it, right? So your calendar reflects your priorities. So like what matters, you have to intentionally put it on your calendar. So this might be one activity is like, a sometimes you can look at the end of your life and look backwards. Like one of the questions that I've heard asked is like, if you could have anything at the end of your life and you look back and say, wow, that occurred, right? Whether you want to get married, you want to have kids, you want to create a foundation, you want to, save the whales, whatever you want to get up to,
Yeah.
thinking about it then and going, okay, what's the gap, right? Okay, well then work backwards. Like what would you have to be doing? Or if you like, I have a bucket list, right? I know approximately how many summers I have left, how many trips, can fit in a year type thing. Okay, what's on my bucket list, right? And this is where, when people ask me to do things or go places, I go, yeah, I kind of have my bucket list for the next, like, is that more of a priority than the things that I've already said are a priority, right? Because like, you've got X amount of time. So are you calendaring? Do you know what's present and what's meaningful to you? And it may not be those.
Oh, she froze again. You froze
Sorry,
again.
lady. I
That's
don't know
okay.
what's happening. Nothing's happening over here. Like it does say my internet's unstable, but it does look like it's okay.
Do you want to
Sorry.
turn the video off?
No, because we need video for the end of it. So let's just do, I'll talk a little bit and then turn it over to you. So
Okay.
I was saying, so it's just about calendaring everything. It's like get it in your calendar if it's meaningful, and knowing what is meaningful to you, right? It could be the little things like more dates with your spouse. It could be more friend events, whatever it is, or charities, donating, volunteering, right? So calendaring
Well,
all that.
we
Yeah.
kind of spoke to two different things here. One is the people that their life might look like they're parked.
Mm.
You know, my life coming to a theater near you soon kind of thing, right? Like la la la, and they're distracting themselves with whatever. They're in a place that is frozen, if you will. And then you have the busy, busy, busies. Both of these people could do this exercise, by the way. what in the hell do I even value? And what are the things? So you're talking about like get these things on the calendar, recognize the impermanence of your life, and the do not wait is you have so many summers, so many years, so many of this left. But a lot of people will be like, I just don't even know where to start because I don't know. Which,
Mm,
first of all, yeah, you do. Okay. Yeah, you do. But people say that all the time, right? Um, so get first clear.
mm,
What are the things? Like I value these things, and therefore that's how I should be spending my time. And then
mm,
I have these list of things I'd like my life to, you know, upon my deathbed or whatever, at whatever junction, I want to be able to identify that I did it. I did do these things.
mm,
This was my life. You know, my life
mm,
story was like this, without
mhm,
a lot of regrets and missing holes, parts, and pieces, right? Spend some time making these lists, people.
mhm,
Talking to someone if you need to help them extract it out of you. Sometimes that actually you got to have that stuff coached out of you, believe it or not. We
mhm,
get it, totally get it. There was parts of my life where that was definitely the case. I couldn't
mm.
have answered these questions. I was too busy surviving. I know what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
What? Right? So
yeah,
that might be you, the listener. And so there are people that can draw this out of you, coach this out of you. And then once you have that written down in that clarity, then you bring the calendars out and you have your life on the calendar. This is how I'll be spending my time. These are the places I'll be going. These will be who I'm hanging out with. By the way, this is how I'll be spending my money.
mm,
So, really, how will you be putting your resources into building this life?
mm.
People will say to me all the time, well, yeah, of course I value health and fitness. And they're literally doing investing zero. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're not. I don't see it. Right? Not one day is there exercise happening. What you're putting in your so it's like, come on now,
Mm.
come on
Yeah,
now. But if
yeah,
that is true and what you want your life to reflect, then
yeah,
let's help you by getting that onto the calendar and making those things happen,
yeah.
right? Structuring your days and your life accordingly.
And I think the one thing I want to speak to here, because I can already hear in the back of people's minds the monkey mind going off, like, well, that's nice for you, and I don't have this, and I can't win the, like the excuse-itis has just shown up in a lot of listeners, minds, and they're listening of themselves and potential and possibility, and well, like look at my life. So just notice that it's there and it's just some thinking that's going on, right? Because it's largely driven by fear and whatever's kept you in the mode that you're in currently, it wants to keep you in that mode, right? Like your mind doesn't like to doesn't like change, right? So if you're introducing ideas and possibilities and like what about this and we could do this, the mind's like, hold up, wait a minute, I'm that takes more energy to have to think about all that stuff, and like all those unknowns start to show up of. And then the other one is like the putting off, like the putting things off. I think people, it's one, disease states are really good ways of like, bringing the like importance of things, right?
Yeah, because
But
they're
we're
sharp.
we're so good at shifting to how much time we have. And when I started looking at like how many possible summers I had left, I was like, oh my God, like I've already had more summers than I'm gonna have. Like, wait a minute here, And I love summertime, not that, wintertime, whatever your choice is or whatever, but like days, weeks, number of, I don't know how many vacations you take or how many things you like to do, whether it's volunteering or date nights or whatever is important to you. It's like, how many of those do you have left, right? And so really get clear on like, oh, okay, this probably can't wait,
It
like,
makes it easier to say no to a lot of things because you're like, well, I have, whatever, 20 summers. Yeah, no, I'm not going to Aunt Thelma's, high school reunion, whatever the things are. That's a no. Next,
totally,
done. Okay.
totally. Yeah,
I'm
and you're
also I'm working with a couple young people right now, young male, 18, 19 age group, and about what do I want to do with my life kind of thing, what's the path for me, struggling, trying to figure some things
mm,
out. And the conversations are really interesting. And really what I keep hearing from them is that they feel like their options are limited, right? They feel like there's only a few things that could be possible for them. And I'm just like, dang, if I could be 18 or 19 again, what the, right? This is unacceptable that we,
Mm,
either society or their family or whatever, their friend group, whatever they've been hanging out, wherever they've been hanging out, has somehow imparted upon said young mind that opportunities are limited. And then, of
mm,
course, they latched onto those, and now they're holding on to those for dear life, right? Like one's just absolutely sure there's only one job he can do, and he's going to be doing that job. And I'm like, what in the hell? You don't even know what the options are yet. It's like you haven't even looked at the menu. You haven't even looked at the menu. You're going to a five-star restaurant called Your Life with a
mm,
10-page menu. You haven't looked at it, but you're
mm,
pretty sure you should eat the Caesar salad.
mm, mm,
Okay, because I gotta get that's a known entity. I'm gonna eat the Caesar.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, or
I
just
think
start at
people
the,
do this
just
at
start with
all
the,
ages.
I'm just gonna have bread. I just came into a, I'm just gonna have the bread, just because.
Bread and water. I'm gonna have bread and water. Yeah. I'm like, oh hell no! You're gonna try half this menu before we even
Yeah,
sit down and discuss what
totally.
like no. But
Yeah,
anyway, people do these kind of things all the time, don't they?
yeah, yeah. So,
Inherited belief systems.
yeah, so
Old
it's
story.
looking at what's important to you, right? Investing a little bit of time and getting out of the way whatever's in the way, whether it's a fear or a doubt or a disbelief or other people. I can't tell you how many people, and I get you can be in relationship with people, right? And that relationship matters a lot. And I'm not saying go against like your vows or something like that, but people put other people in their relationship as a roadblock for them. Like, oh, they won't travel with me, or oh, they won't be okay with it. I'm like, hold up. This is your partner. Like, you guys are on the same team. You want each other's lives to be extraordinary. Or
Mhm.
if not, then like have that conversation first, whatever. But like, oh, I can't because of X person. Like, no, okay, all right. And then there are some definite, I get it, there's some limitations. You and I are not like ignoring, like, you may have financial limitations, you may have some logistical limitate, like, but guess what? You're also resourceful. We're also damn resourceful when we want to be, right? And
Mhm.
I think, looking at, well, how could it? Like, oh, I wonder if that could happen. What, just opening up to that wonder and that possibility instead of, nope, 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 can't do it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just key little,
Don't wait.
yes, yeah. So if we're not waiting, and you know me and like negatives, like don't wait. Okay, so then it's like get up to it. Like get up to it, get out there, get into it, get over it, get going, get
I had this
whatever.
total visual when I said that of being in a waiting room. Have
Hmm.
you ever been in a waiting room when you're like waiting to go to the doctor or you're waiting for someone to come out of surgery or whatever? There's some kind of waiting room element to it. And you're sitting there and it's quiet and it's uncomfortable and it's awkward and it's all of the weird things,
Yeah,
and nothing's happening. You don't have any answers about what's going to happen next, sort of thing.
yeah,
It's so weird. And
yeah.
if you think about it, would you spend much of your life in a waiting room?
Mm.
Would you willingly say, I should sit in this waiting room for about 10 years and then get busy doing
Mm,
the things? No, you
mm.
wouldn't do that.
No.
It's totally, totally ludicrous, right?
No, it's like, I remember when restaurants used to have to like put your name in and then wait in the like in the wherever their little
Foyer.
hangout, whatever. And then they came up with those little devices that are like, go ahead and roam, we'll call you or text you or something. Now it's like, all right, see ya, I'll be back, right? Like, cool, I'll come back for that. All right, it's like your partner. It's like, yeah, they're there. If they don't want to take that trip with you, it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go for a few days and I'll be back. Like, okay, we got it.
Yeah,
So
I'll be back healthier and happier. Peace.
yeah, yeah. Totally, totally. All right. I think we've
Let's
said
wrap it
our
up.
piece. Yeah. So what's your one thing? What's your leave them with one thing? What do you want them
To
to
me, first of all, let's just start with the truth that we are all of the nature
mm,
of change or impermanence.
mm,
Everything around us,
mm,
this body, this brain, this life, everything that I come in contact with is fleeting.
mm,
It's changing, it's fleeting.
mm,
And by no means should I not live in that place of reality with that, right? Because I think that is what leads to the slippery slope of
mm,
staying stuck, not doing, making excuses, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
not getting busy.
Mm,
So just spend time pondering that.
mm,
Maybe
mm,
write yourself a love letter about it, or a journal, or have a conversation with somebody that you love or you trust about it, and
mm,
see what kind of comes up with you. I think we should start with that for many, many people.
mm. I think my one thing, we haven't said it, but it occurred to me is like looking at your day or your week or whatever's on your calendar and just being like, am I doing what matters? Like, like, does this really matter right now or in the big scheme of things? Like, if I didn't do this, like, would it really matter? And you just start to hone in. Like, it's sort of like, I think about like when people go through the closet, reinvigorating your closet, right? It's like, get rid of whatever you don't need for the season or for like what's not you anymore, right? Like, pare it down, like paring down your life to the core pieces, the core, like I love decluttering and stuff. It's like this no longer applies, no longer matters. And the same thing is for the activities and the people that you're spending time with or what you're investing your life into. Like, look at it from a, like, if I was clearing out the closet, how much of this am I not using anymore? Or I need to not, not stop wearing that old Yankee thing, like
Hmm.
upgrade. So, yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, this has been fun. I can't wait for our future one. So, you guys, we highly recommend, again, the five invitations is what this is based on. Check it
Yep.
out. Audiobook is fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. So, what do we want to leave them with, as we always do?
There it is. Check out Frank. Say hi to Frank for me.
Yep. Yep.
How your life feels. Oh gosh, someone just said this back to me the other day, and it was so lovely. They're
Oh,
like, a really wise person said this to me, and then they spit it back out at me. I was like, oh my God, you're so sweet right now. Look at you trying to break my heart.
oh.
How
They
your
said,
life feels is more important than how it looks.
and every day is your opportunity to find your awesome.
See you next time.